And so our experts have been documenting the window frame area to understand how the window came out.
More news coming out about that Southwest Airlines flight. Alex Stone's been covering this story since it happened. Good morning, Alex Stone.
McGraw, good morning to you. And today we know the FAA is getting ready. They say within the next 2 weeks they will be putting out a directive to all airlines in the U.S. that fly the 737-700, which quite a few do, that they need to begin inspecting their engines for metal fatigue, that they're going to have to use ultrasonic equipment. It's not something you can see with the naked eye, that they will have to scan all of the fan blades in their engines to make sure that there are no more weaknesses. They believe that metal fatigue may have played a role in this case and one in 2016 involving a Southwest Airlines flight. Same model of plane, same model of engine, that maybe on older engines, these engines, CFM56 that the 737-700 uses, that maybe they begin to show metal fatigue if they're not constantly checked and those fan blades need to be replaced. So that's going to go out to all airlines. Southwest is already doing that with the ultrasonic equipment. They hope to get their entire fleet checked within 30 days. American Airlines says it's getting on it as well before this directive comes out. It appears United may too, so the airlines are starting to jump on it to say, okay, let's check out our plane.
Yeah, we're starting to hear more about what happened inside the plane too, aren't we?
Well, we are, and a lot of it is coming down to the captain, Tammy Jo Schultz. She has a growing fan base. Passengers say she was their Captain Sully. One passenger online writing that she's a true American hero. This was her calm voice through all of it.
Yeah, we have a part of the aircraft missing, so we're going to need to slow down a bit.
Now, you have to imagine that on a lot of it, she had a mask on because they couldn't breathe on board otherwise. They had depressurized. She thought that a passenger had been sucked out, according to what she told air traffic control, even though that was accurate, but they had pulled the passenger back in. They had medical emergencies on board, and she stayed calm.
We've got injured passengers.
Injured passengers, okay, and is your airplane physically on fire?
No, it's not on fire, but part of it's missing.
And she was one of the first women to fly Navy fighter jets back in the 90s. She had the training after the emergency landing. And passengers say she went to the back of the cabin to talk to every passenger personally to make sure they were okay, to give them hugs. That she's getting a lot of praise now.
Now, we also, we're hearing that some passengers tried to keep this woman in the plane.
Yeah, there were two male passengers that jumped in and pulled her back in. She was being sucked out. She had been hit by the debris, and by the way, we now know her cause of death was blunt force trauma. She was hit by this chunk that came through, and then the forces of the depressurization began to suck her through that window hole. We understand her arms had gone through, and her chest area was starting to go through, and two male passengers got up, despite the fact that they could have been sucked out, and pulled her back in, and then began CPR on her. We're told there was blood everywhere in the cabin.
And did she have her seatbelt on? Because we're hearing that she did have her seatbelt on, but she was still thrust through the window.
Yeah, the force is there, and it's not that the seatbelt broke, but most likely she was starting to slip through the seatbelt. It seems like she was probably unconscious at that time, so essentially she was a limp body and then began to get sucked through that engine hole. Those forces are incredible, and that's why there was always the concern of the plane ripping apart. Once you get any sort of hole in the plane, when it comes to depressurization, it's like a can exploding, that then the rest can go. And her body was starting to get sucked through that small window hole, and that's when they jumped in. But yeah, she, according to the NTSB, she had her seatbelt on.
Alex Stone, ABC News. Thanks, Alex.
You got it. Thanks, Carl.